Before we get started, if you're new here and you find yourself always needing more time, running out of time, or not getting the most out of your time, I have a short program called Where to Start that is going to help you as soon as today. Where to Start is where I teach the exact foundation I walk people through before they ever open a planner or create a to-do list. It teaches you what to do first so that you can get the most out of your days, your weeks, your months. You can find Where to Start linked wherever you're listening now. So pause me now to sign up and get started, or make a note to sign up after you're done listening to today's episode. You can click the link here where you're listening or go to wheretostart.me. That's wheretostart.me. Welcome to episode 6 of the Steward Well series, a 10-episode series designed and created to help you steward your time well, and not only you, but those in your circles, the ladies, the women, the girls in your communities. I created this series using audio so that you can easily share it with the people in your life. Oh, I didn't mean to exclude the men folk. So of course the men folk as well. Share this with your circles. Drop these in your group chats, because if you haven't been sending out the links out to your group chat, this is the episode to send, because I'm willing to bet the farm you have talked about, read about, or thought about today's subject matter with some of the people in your group chats, in your family, in your circles, at work, your coworkers. Today, I want to talk briefly about the ever popular phrase, particularly among women, of work-life balance. Now, in my line of work, with being hired to help people with their time, this term has floated its way in and out of conversations over the last decade plus. And my perspective and views on the term work-life balance have always been rooted in the same truths. But today, I have what I believe is a better response and teaching around the term. And here it is. So plain and simple, and then we'll talk about it. Throw out the term. Throw away the term work-life balance. It is trash. And not because of the reasons you may think or why I've spoken against it before. Like, for example, in the past, I've explained that balance is just undesirable. When I think of balance, I think of someone walking a tightrope, right? Trying to hold 50% of life and 50% of work in left and right hand. And if either tips over, you fall to your death. It's not a picture of what life was meant to be and what actually the actuality of life. So I have always had a problem with this concept of balance. My issue was with the term balance, that balance portion of the phrase. But now, 2026 Shantae, who has over a decade of experience, who has worked with people in so many countries, every state, so many people at different ages and stages of life, different types of work, which we'll talk about as well today. With the wealth of knowledge that I have an issue with the work-life portion in addition to the balance, to be clear, which means the whole thing. Let's throw all of the phrase in the trash. Because who said that work gets to be so important that it comprises an entire portion of what you define as what matters to you in your life? And then everything else gets thrown into this one catch-all category of life. The term work-life balance in itself is wrong, restrictive, disempowering, dishonest, and so much more. There's no work-life balance. There is only life. There is no work-life balance. There is only life. And that is the truth of it. And for many, work of all types, because we'll talk about that too, is a part of your life. The only person who benefits from you thinking or you trying to aim for work-life balance, the only person who benefits from that is the person or the people or systems trying to work you, because they know work has already been given its unfair share of importance, weight, and value. It's the person who benefits from your destruction. So let me say this again, and let me slow down as I say it, because I know for some it's going to take a minute to plant roots into this truth, but there is no work life anything. There is just life, your life. Anything anyone else tries to sell you anything differently, it's a lie and it's to your detriment. And I stand on business with that. Okay. Work-life balance tricks you to think that work is a huge component of your life and everything else must balance or compete with work. And you can see how that has played out and how that has worked out, spoiler, not worked out for millions of humans. Millions. And you want to know why I spent so many episodes talking about words? Can you not see the power of words and vocabulary that you choose and impose on your own self and the detriment? Yes. Work-life balance. Some may say, I want to choose that. That's the thing I want. And wonderful. Go ahead and do that. You can finish listening and maybe your mind will change. But if that's the case, you probably don't want to hear anything else I have to say in the first place. But I have a feeling if you've made it to 6 episodes, that's not you. And also, hear me out. I'm not saying that working is a choice. I'm saying the esteem, the placement, the priority, the value, the idolizing of work is a choice. There's simply your life and the myriad of things that are a part of your life that ebb and flow with the seasons of your life. Work-life balance aggrandizes work and minimizes who you are and your life. It also warps your sense of identity. Work becomes who you are. What do? Becomes the leading question when you meet people. Telling people what you do to earn money becomes the most interesting and important thing about you when it is not. Even if the work that you do is super meaningful and special, it's because of who you are that adds the value to the work, not the other way around. Work-life balance leads to a warped view of yourself, and you make work your identity, which becomes tricky when you're fired, when you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, or anything that severs you from that type of work or your work. And I want to be very clear, work is and can be honorable. This is not a bash on work. There may be seasons of your life where working a job, career, entrepreneur endeavor, and the like may be the melody in the symphony of your life. It is what is loudest. In those times, your paid work may be given a significant amount of your energy and your time. And yet, even in those seasons, the goal is not to strive for work-life balance. The goal is to intentionally live out your life with focus on whatever it is you have defined as the priority in that season, while also honoring the totality, the fullness of who you are. Work is a part of life. Work is not life, and we do not live solely or primarily to work. And let me pause here and define what I mean by work up until this point, because I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. When I'm talking about work up until this point in the conversation, I mean performance done in exchange for money, for an income, right? It's important to note because there are many types of work. But typically the work-life balance conversation is talking about working for income. But I do want to point out that there are so many other types of work that are also a part of our lives. Work we do as parents, as caretakers, as being a part of a community, vocational work, meaning work done because you feel you're called to do it. And the list goes on. Many of these types of work are actually far more laborious. Laborious is how you say that, laborious? Let's go with laborious. That feels right. Are far more labor intensive, there we go, without an income attached to them. Though some people also find income attached to some of these other types of work, like vocational work, right? I say all of that to say we must understand that our lives are made up of more than the thing we do in exchange for a salary, hourly wage, and some insurance. But if you continue seeking for and thinking work-life balance is the goal, you'll miss out on the bigger picture, the actual picture, which is your life, and how it can hold various types of work, play, health, family, friends, community, and so much more. I mean, think of it this way. If you have a circle, I want you to picture a circle. If you're not driving while listening or walking in the streets while listening to this, close your eyes and just envision a circle. And then you cut it straight down the middle. And on the left side, you write life. And on the right side, you write work. Your job wants to give you to give 50% of that circle of your all to work. And then the remaining 50% is literally everything else that makes up your life, which is actually far more than work. Do you not see that imbalance? But it explains why we have so many unhealthy in every form, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, unhealthy, unhappy, burdened down, overwhelmed, blind, leading the blind humans on this planet. This is why so many people will easily and sometimes unknowingly for years sacrifice health, relationships, deeply held beliefs, allegedly deeply held beliefs, all in the name of work or for the sake of work. Because you've been led to believe that work is who you are. Work is what's most important. You go to school to get a good job. You pay attention in elementary school to get a job, in middle school to get a job. Everything's about getting a good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Go be a worker, 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 worker. And then people wonder why their marriages are in shambles. Their friendships and relationships are non-existent. Their health is gone. Don't recognize the person in the mirror. I'm willing to bet that if you're listening to this episode, especially if you've listened to episodes 1 through 5 and you keep coming back, work-life balance conflicts with your values and it conflicts with the season that you're in, which is why I will continue to point you to where to start so that you can do the work of building a foundation that lasts. I walk you step by step on how to get clear on your values, your season, in a way that becomes the filter for how you do everything else in your life. And if you haven't walked through the short lessons and where to start, it's linked below. It's time to get started. So plain and simple, today's lesson is this: throw work-life balance out of the window. It completely erases you and your life. It provides your brain with the wrong view of work, which also takes away from the honor and dignity of work, and that a lot of work can have. That's what happens when you put something outside of its proper place, right? Anything outside of its proper place will never prosper to the point that it's supposed to or was created to. When work is outside the proper place, we also have the adverse effect of good quality work also being missed. So you must put work in its proper place and understand also that there is work in this life to be done that has nothing to do with the salary and retirement package. And that can be easily missed when we think work-life balance is the goal. I know that this will be an episode that will have questions and commentary, so let's keep this conversation going in my One Today at a Time membership for women who desire to steward their time well. You are invited. I want to hear your part of this conversation. Let's back and forth with it and really process it in real time. And of course, you can also come and talk to me over on Instagram. I'm at Shuntay Grant, SHUNTAGRANT. What questions do you have about today's episode? Go post them over in the One Today at a Time membership. And the question with this episode, because every episode comes with a question, I'm hoping that you are writing down and journaling and reflecting on and coming and sharing with me over in the One Today at a Time membership. What have you sacrificed in the name of work-life balance? And what is one thing you can do to start to undo that today? What have you sacrificed in the name of work-life balance? And what's one thing you can do to undo that today? I'll talk to you again in episode 7. And until then, don't forget to send this in your group chat. This is what I want to hear you and your friends talking about. I look forward to hearing your feedback. This Steward Well series is brought to you by Where to Start, my online program that walks you step by step on where to start if you want to steward your time well. The best news, we don't begin with lists and productivity. Actually, none of that is included. Instead, I'm going to show you how to steward your time in a way that honors your values and your specific season. And yes, I teach you how to define both of those things inside of Where to Start. Where to Start is linked right now wherever you're listening, or you can go to wheretostart.me. That's wheretostart.me today.